Bungie has reduced their workforce by 17%. This means that 220 people will be impacted in the form of layoffs, and 155 roles will be folded into the larger PlayStation organization. Let's read the full statement and talk about how this will impact the brand going forward. So first things first, let's take a look at the Bungie statement here. A new path for Bungie. This is from Pete Parsons. This morning, I'm sharing with you some of the most difficult changes we've ever had to make as a studio due to rising costs of development and industry shifts, as well as enduring economic conditions. It has become clear that we need to make substantial changes to our cost structure and focus development efforts entirely on Destiny and Marathon. That means beginning today, 220 of our roles will be eliminated, representing roughly 17% of our studio's workforce. Now, this news comes at a time when Bungie has already had reductions last year, and the reductions continue. This has already had a devastating effect on studio morale, and it comes right after Bungie just released potentially what is one of their best expansions, Final Shape. Now, 4 or 5 years ago, I got to interview Pete Parsons, and that was when they were initially going independent as a studio. And he said that he wants Bungie to be a place where people from any walk of life feel they can come here and do their best work. Now, unfortunately, I have to imagine that this being the second workforce reduction at Bungie, not only is that likely not going to be happening, I think people are going to be much more cautious about looking for roles at Bungie when it's quite clear that leadership has made many difficult decisions that impact those people that they went out and hired. Let's continue reading. These actions will affect every level of the company, including most of our executive and senior leader roles. Today is a difficult and painful day, especially for departing colleagues, all of which have made important and valuable contributions to Bungie. Our goal is to support them with the utmost care and respect. For everyone affected by this job reduction, we will be offering a generous exit package, including severance, bonus, and health coverage. I realize all of this is hard news, especially following the success we have seen with the Final Shape. But as we've navigated the broader economic realities over the last year, and after exhausting all other mitigation options, this has become a necessary decision to refocus our studio and our business with more realistic goals and viable financials. Now, if you remember last year, it was very clear that they had over forecasted their profit margin. They had a 45% revenue miss, which means they were projecting 45% above what they actually ended up making. And when you have misses quite regularly at this level, it's clear that leadership needs a change. There are rumors that that could be happening. We're going to get into that in just a second, where there are some thoughts that Herman Hulst will be taking over the company, and that may have been the plan after seeing just how much of a mess Bungie had stacked up. Let's continue on the statement. Before I do, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. If you haven't already, hit that like button if you like these sorts of videos. Thanks for watching so far. We are committed to 2 other major changes today that we believe will support our focus, leverage Sony's strengths, and create new opportunities for Bungie talent. First, we are deepening our integration with Sony Interactive Entertainment, working to integrate 155 of our roles, roughly 12% into SIE over the next few quarters. SIE has worked tirelessly with us to identify roles for as many of our people as possible, enabling us together to save a great deal of talent that would otherwise have been affected by the reduction in force. Now, like I said, this seems to me to be part of PlayStation's overall initiative to take over leadership at Bungie, because they have so spectacularly managed to miss their targets. Leadership has spectacularly managed to miss their targets. Second, we are working with PlayStation Studios leadership to spin out one of our incubation projects, an action game set in a brand new science fantasy universe, to form a new studio within PlayStation Studios to continue its promising development. This will be a time of tremendous change for our studio. Let's unpack how we ended up in this position. It's important to understand how we got here. For over 5 years, it has been our goal to ship games in 3 enduring global franchises. To realize that ambition, we set up several incubation projects, each seeded with senior development leaders from our existing teams. We eventually realized that this model stretched our talent too thin too quickly. It also forced our studio support structures to scale to a larger level than we could realistically support, given our 2 primary products in development, Destiny and Marathon. And who made those sorts of decisions to spread their talent too thin and not adequately be able to support those talents? Those are the people that should be held accountable. And one of those people are Pete Parsons. I think that this is not the end of this story. I think sooner rather than later, we are going to hear about a massive shakeup in top leadership at Bungie because of this failing. Additionally, in 2023, our rapid expansion ran headlong into a broad economic slowdown, a sharp downturn in the games industry, our quality miss with Destiny 2 Lightfall, and the need to give both the final shape and Marathon the time needed to ensure both projects deliver at the quality our players expect and deserve. We were overly ambitious, our financial safety margins were subsequently exceeded, and we began running in the red. After this new trajectory became clear, we knew we had to change our course and speed, and we did everything we could to avoid today's outcome. Even with exhaustive efforts undertaken across our leadership and product teams to resolve our financial challenges, these steps were simply not enough. As a result, today we must say goodbye to incredible talent, colleagues, and friends. This will be a challenging time at Bungie, and we'll need to help our team navigate these changes in the weeks and months ahead. This will be a hard week, and we know that our team will need time to process, to ask questions, and to absorb this news. Today and over the next several weeks, we will host team meetings and town halls, team breakout sessions, and private individual sessions to ensure we are keeping our communication open and transparent. Many people who had been at Bungie for a very long time had already departed, and at this point, I think those departures are only going to continue. As soon as something better comes along, I don't see any reason why you would stay at a company that just doesn't seem to be able to get it together, even after a massive success. Bungie will continue to make great games. We still have over 850 team members, including Destiny and Marathon, and we will continue to build amazing experiences that exceed our players' expectations. There will be a time to talk about our goals and projects, but today is not that day. Today, our focus is on supporting our people. I mean, of course, it's on supporting the people, those that you have remained at the company, but this is the, second large round of layoffs, and it's become very clear that there's a lack of faith from Sony leadership. Bungie would actually tweet out, "Today is a difficult day for the Destiny team. Out of respect for our friends and colleagues and to give our team time to take care of each other, we are canceling this week in Destiny." So they're showing support to their colleagues. And obviously, I don't know what this means for the future of Destiny. There are longtime veterans who are no longer at the company. Quan Purng said, "Well, I'm not longer at Bungie. It's been quite the ride. Being the narrative lead on the final shape was immensely rewarding. I don't know what lies ahead for me, but I'm feeling optimistic and looking forward to a break. Thanks to the Destiny community and to my colleagues." So he's out. There's several other notable people out. There were people already leaving before this announcement took place, and some people found out from this blog post that they were being laid off. Here's a few more. "I've been affected by these layoffs. If you have any remote QA jobs, associate designer positions with a specialization in live service games, let me know." Rebs Gaming saw this from Allison Samowitz. "I write this with tears in my eyes and hands shaking over keyboard buttons. I've been let go from Bungie." Kailani said, "This layoff also includes me. It includes some of the most passionate, creative, and dedicated people I've known." Natalia says, "I was hit with Bungie layoffs today. Sucks since this was my first gig as an audio programmer and I was the only fully dedicated audio programmer." Amy said, "Well, if you ever needed a Bungie certified capture artist, I'm right here." Corey said, "I was unfortunately affected by the layoffs at Bungie this morning." Tom Warren brought up this post where Previously, they said Bungie leadership assures employees Sony deal will not result in layoffs and restructuring. And what has happened with the Sony deal? It has led to layoffs and restructuring. It's very clear that this is a huge miss. Jeff Grubb even saying that he has heard that Herman Hulst is going to be running Bungie. And honestly, with what has happened, that sort of makes sense. Also, they attempted to soften the blow by sending many people from Bungie into SIE instead of just cutting them. I thought the number of jobs lost was going to be closer to 350. I'll put it as far as I know, which isn't everything. By a long shot, in time, Bungie will lose its autonomy and will become like any other PlayStation worldwide studio under SIE and Herman Hulst. Unfortunately, he continues on. And by in time, I just mean that this is a process that is starting now, but it is happening. I'll talk about this more on GMM tomorrow. I think we can suss out the answers to most of the questions that people have. Also, I bet we'll get some more reporting by then as well. Yeah, I do think, like I said, that this isn't the last of it. I think there's a lot more coming. Some more people laid off. Carl says, after 7+ years sharing many moments and memories for the Destiny franchise, my time has come to an end. Lucky said, I was affected by the layoffs today. And Cromwell, working over at Larian, said, re-layoffs. As someone who does hire, I find that generally people who are on do not work with lists for being outspoken, annoying, non-corporate, or whatever turn out to be the most engaged hires. Culture mismatches are fine, but don't ever believe you won't fit anywhere at all. And he's saying that because a lot of the people who are likely departing from Bungie are people that might fit that particular description. It's just absolutely brutal. Bungie is a studio that I have followed since I started in the industry. Basically, I made a We Love Halo 3 short, and that won a contest at Game Trailers, and I got a poster signed by a bunch of people who are not at Bungie anymore. It was a really cool moment for me, and I used that gift card to buy video equipment. And anytime I see anything happening with the studio, especially news like the news today, it's just really depressing because it truly feels like that studio I loved and believed in and adored all the games. It just feels like that studio is gone. It's gone through such change, and it just feels like something is completely missing from where they once were. Holtzman, who works over there, says BRB gonna go form a union. And at some point, it's just like, what recourse does the video game industry have? You make a great game, you get laid off. You make a bad game, you get laid off. It just seems like there's only one option left, and that's to unionize. They've tried it the other way. It hasn't worked. It's been just layoff after layoff after layoff, thousands of them at this point. And it feels like that's what they have to do. Let me know what you think about all this news. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I do greatly appreciate you watching. Thank you so much to the members for joining and supporting this channel. I greatly appreciate you. Click that join button right down there if you would like to become a member. I do greatly appreciate you. I'm going to get out of here. Check out my previous live stream archive where I sort of covered off on all the news from the last week. And I'll see you for the next one. Bye for now, everybody.